Welcome to the WarriorsHQ podcast. My name is Mazin. I'm the founder of the WarriorsHQ and Aspire One. And I've been wanting to make this podcast for a very long time. I've tried my best to start it and I've always waited for the perfect opportunity just to get going. But I realized that in life, sometimes you have to just take action and everything else will fall into place. I initially wanted to have a logo on the back of, the floor. There's flooring over here that, you can't really see. And we've just moved into our new facility, the WarriorsHQ. And I was like, it's got to be the perfect time. So I went to the gym, I trained, did a boxing session and did a 5K run. And after that 5K, I was like, look, it's now or never. Like, we've moved into this place and I've done my best to get this place to a good standard. And a lot of the time we needed just to get the content out and showcase to people why I started the Warriors HQ, why it's different to Aspire One, and what it actually means to be a warrior. Because I've learned a lot about myself, especially over these last few months, and I've really learned what it means to be a warrior. And to be honest with you, I'm still striving to become that warrior version of myself. So warriors, they don't wait for perfect, they just take action and go. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start it off at my turning point. And my turning point started in life when I actually tore my ACL. Now, a lot of people have heard my story, but I'm going to be explaining it to you over here because some people, especially the person behind this podcast, if you're listening to it, you might not have heard my story. And I was working in the corporate world. I had a nice job, traveling around, selling medical devices. I went to Europe. As you can tell, I'm based in the UK. Went to America, went to the Middle East, and everything was great. But to be honest with you, there was a part of me that was wanting more. I knew that this wasn't my passion, and I knew that I wanted to find and do something a bit different. I was always into my fitness, always into training, especially from a very young age. I had dumbbells at home, at the age of 10, 11, just trying to just lift some weights. I was a very skinny kid and I had a pull-up bar at home, trying to do pull-ups, could never really do a pull-up or even push-ups, for example. And it got to a stage when I just, kept training. I went to the gym, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, played lots of football. The sport that I played at uni was lacrosse. I went to university and played lots of different sports. But my turning point actually came when I tore my ACL. And it was the second time this happened to me. I tore it once when I was at uni. I was out for the full year. And the second time it happened to me, it took a bigger stance. Because what had happened is that when I was playing football 4 or 5 times a week, and when it happened, I wasn't able to move. I wasn't able to exercise. I wasn't able to really be myself. And someone who's very active physically, it was mentally very draining. It was a struggle. So what I did was I obviously had the operation, rehabilitated, and at the same time, it was a case that as I was in the hospital bed, I wanted to better myself and I wanted to challenge myself. And I knew the road of rehab was going to be so draining because if anyone's torn their ACL, like I said, you're out for the full year. It's not easy. So what I did was I documented my journey. And this was on an Instagram page. I started a new page called ACL Twine Man. And at the time it was just COVID. So no one was really leaving the house and I was doing all my exercises at home. And it was a mental battle, but me posting the content every single day kept me accountable. And then also it helped inspire and motivate other people around the world to also go to the gym, train, exercise, move their body. And for me, it was just second nature. But for a lot of people, they didn't know and they didn't understand. And they didn't have the discipline that I had, because I knew that I set myself a goal, and that goal was to do a half Ironman, and I completed it. And it was a struggle, but the struggle of not being able to walk, learning how to run, that was the biggest struggle for me. So I realized that at that time, I wasn't the person I was meant to be. So that's what switched for me. And I realized that only I could save myself. Now, obviously, it's a painful process. There's lots of difficulty that comes that in my way. But at the same time, I opened up Aspire One. Now, I did that by finding a place that I could train. I could train with my friends, and it was a place that we were already training boxing and lifting weights in my back garden, and I just wanted a place that I could do that, and I trained with my friends, and it was an amazing experience because, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, we just come over to my house and we just lift some weights, and we'd box in the garden, do some sparring, and it was a very interesting time. And when I opened up my gym, my decision was I just wanted a place that I could train with my friends. And then that became one friend, as in I then trained one of my friends, trained two of my friends. They started referring some of their friends, and then I started training them. And then I was like, look, this is actually quite nice, because now I'm doing something I'm passionate about and helping people in that process. And at the same time, I left my corporate job, went into personal training, and started training clients. So that was me for a solid, 4.5 years. And it was a really nice experience. And I just wanted to help people, motivate people, and help people become the best version of themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's a mental battle. Becoming the best version of you relies on you. And that, a lot of the time, is just training, exercise, making sure the foundations are there, fundamentals are there. And I was always into my sport and always into my exercise. And some people that were training with me, that they'd never trained before, and we got them into some really good shape. And, there was so many different springs of Aspire One that we went into. We went into the nutrition side of things that opened up so many doors. And that was just, a palaver in itself. And, we do want to open that back up again at some point, but I'll explain a lot more about the nutrition side in the future episode. But the main thing that I wanted to say about the Warriors HQ is that, after the gym, it had so many leaks, and I wanted to open up a place that had a new name, it had a new meaning. And the training that we are doing currently, and where we ended the Aspire One gym, was hybrid training. It was strength training and it was fitness training, all into one combination. You might have seen a lot of the High Rocks style training. That's the side of things that I was doing. So we built a community, we built a home for a lot of people, and it's my goal with this podcast to share insights that I have learned from training and coaching over 200 people into the best versions of themselves. Some people were getting married. Some people just were wanting to go on holiday. Some people just were struggling from injury and they wanted to become, the best version of themselves. So that's what we did. So in this podcast, I want to explain to you the ways of the warrior. And By me doing this podcast, I'm actually reinforcing the ways of the warrior into my life. And one of those, obviously, is taking action and being disciplined. You know, our phrase and our motto is discipline activated. You have to activate the discipline in order for you to achieve your results. And sometimes discipline can come in many different forms. It can come in waking up in the morning on time. It can be taking action and doing that 5K run that you said you were going to do. Or it's going to be like turning up to a session that you said you were going to turn up to. So there's so many different factors that come into discipline, and I want to explain that. So the three laws of the warrior that I'm going to be talking about in today's episode is, number one, show up even when you don't feel like it. Today, I didn't really want to do this podcast. Like, it's 11:57 p.m. at night. You know, it's about to be midnight. And I was like, look, I need to do this. I need to get this out there. It's the 8th of December, 2025. But the gym is set up. There's lots of things that need to be done in the gym, but take action, right? Show up. The second thing is do the hard thing first. Whatever is the hardest thing that you know you have to do, but you don't do it, that is how you're going to get to the next level. Because a lot of us actually know what we need to do. And especially in this day and age, there's so much information out there, but it's about making sure you do the hardest thing, and then also the thing that you need to do in order to get to that next stage, if that makes sense. So make sure that you turn up for yourself. Make sure you do the hard thing first, and do not negotiate with excuses. I could have so easily sacked it off, started again tomorrow, but who knows what might have appeared tomorrow. We don't know. We don't know what tomorrow is planned. So another thing was, like, I was looking back at my camera roll, and I wanted to start this podcast last year, imagine 2024. And looking back at the year that I had, it was a great year, a lot of transition, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and a lot of sad times, stressful times, anxious times, especially when you're running a business. But we are here, and we are now pushing for the next step. And the next step is to help you, whoever's listening to this podcast. So firstly, thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, then please let me know, because this is not about me. This is more about you. What do you want to know from me? A lot of people that I speak to, especially in social media, on Snapchat. I'm mainly active on Snap, to be honest. I don't know why. I just resonated with that platform the most, because I can just pick up my phone, I can record, say what's on my mind, upload, and you know, there's a nice local community that resonate with a lot of the things that I say, especially when I'm coaching people. So if you are feeling stuck and you are feeling lost, just know that I am here to help you. And that is in any capacity, whether that is if you've got a situation that you need to speak to someone about, if that is just about you trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get fitter, trying to get stronger, whether that is a business situation, you are most welcome to ask me those questions. But the Warriors HQ is a place where people become the best version of themselves, a place where people become disciplined, stay disciplined, and reach their best selves. So we're going to be covering discipline, how to become a better person, a better man, hybrid training. I also want to delve into boxing, because I've started getting into boxing. So, you know, we'll be getting a lot of different guests on here, people who are part of the Warriors HQ, people who I have trained, people who I have transformed, some people who are really into their mental health and, you know, and a huge advocate of mental health. And that is so important in this day and age, the community side of things, bringing people together. That's what I really want to start doing and bringing together, like, you know, this group of like-minded individuals who are savages at heart, but they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the backing, they don't have the people around them, because at the end of the day, we are only here for a short amount of time, and it's a lonely world out there. People don't speak, people don't communicate, people bottle it up, and that's how they get sad, that's how they get depressed. Like, you know, I'm quite blessed. I've got family around me, I've got friends around me that I can speak with, I can always ask questions and you know, ask them anything that's on my mind. But people don't have that. So, you know, it's about finding your purpose, whatever your purpose is, becoming the strongest version of yourself. And I also wanted to have a message for my future self in this episode. So, Maz, if you're watching this, hopefully you are in the future, I want you to know that if you ever lose your way, remember why you started this. Because I know there's going to be a lot of growth coming up soon. There's going to be a lot of success. And with success comes problems. There's going to be a lot of problems. There's going to be a lot of solutions. There's going to be a lot of, you know, amazing things that we are going to achieve, and amazing people and lives that we are going to change. So I'm ready for it. You know, these last few years have conditioned me to becoming the best version of myself, and I'm ready for more. I am ready for more. So if you're listening to this, listener in the over here, if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling lost, I've been there. But if I can change my life around, then so can you, right? You just need to start. So the next episode is about why most men have no discipline and how to fix it. All right? Make sure that if you are watching this or listening to this on the way to your work or in the gym session, or, you know, wherever you are in the world, make sure to please like the video, and also drop a comment. Let me know if you are enjoying this, what you want to hear. If you've got any questions about training, about mindset, about nutrition, then please let me know. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. They're going to be the main platforms. And if you listen to this on Spotify, shout out to you. Discipline isn't a feeling. I'll say that again. Discipline isn't a feeling. It is a decision. It's a decision that you make. And we are all striving to get and to become the most disciplined out there. So we will see you in episode 2. And thank you all for listening. Short and sweet. Let's get it. Big 2025 end of the year, and a big 2026 coming up. My people, Mazin Alimi, Warriors HQ, Aspire 1, out. Let's go.